VHS Files contains spoilers, adult content, and harsh language. Listener discretion is advised.
It's showtime. It's showtime.
Welcome to the VHS Files Podcast with Jenny Lou,
So what do you want to do tonight?
Jason,
What about pizza and movie night?
Eric,
I want to rent a movie.
and Josh.
I want to go to a good video store so I can get a good movie.
And this is the movie of the week.
Get this pizza movie night started.
Greetings and salutations, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, good day.
Good day to you, sir.
How was everyone's Thanksgiving?
Relaxing.
I have a turkey hangover.
Eric, did you have a good Thanksgiving?
Yeah, kept it real simple. No family visiting, so pretty small.
Same here.
It's good.
Kept it simple. 3 people.
We'd like to welcome everyone to episode 13, lucky number 13.
Yay.
We'd like to thank everyone for listening, everyone that's been keeping up with us thus far in the show, and some of our fans that watch us on the regular. Thank you so much for participating and listening to us. But
And
we
look,
have
It's the first Christmas
we have
podcast.
entered the Christmas season. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Twistmas. So,
We're reviewing Frosty the Snowman tonight, right? Is that what we're doing? Frosty the
Rudolph, man, Rudolph.
Oh, well, Santa Claus is coming to town.
All right, well,
The movie of the week.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Eric is holding in the excitement. Y'all can't see him. You just see the excitement just oozing out of his pores.
And I get the feeling we're going to have a lot to say on this one, so I'm going to go ahead and just play the trailer, and then we'll get into this bad boy.
'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la.
After vacationing across America and throughout Europe,
La, take it, Russ.
this holiday season, the Griswolds are going to play it safe.
Clark, we're
Take it,
stuck
Russ.
under a truck.
They're staying at home.
I give you the Griswold family Christmas tree.
Hope you're not getting sap all over your sweater, Clark.
All Clark wants is a quiet, old-fashioned Christmas.
Sorry. Got a little knot here. You can work on that.
What he's going to get is the gift that keeps on living.
Merry Christmas.
His family.
We didn't come to impose. Oh, hell, there's plenty of room.
Do you sleep with your brother? Do you know how sick and twisted that is, Mom? Well, I'm sleeping with your father.
Have you got a kiss for me?
You better take a rain check on that, Art. He's got lip fungus they ain't identified yet.
But no holiday could ever be more deeply touching.
We were gonna call, but Eddie wanted to make it a surprise.
If I woke up tomorrow with my head sewn to the carpet, I wouldn't be more surprised than I am right now.
We're really gonna fly down the hill with this stuff.
So genuinely moving.
The trailer is really long, so we're not going to get into the whole thing.
That's the whole movie. We don't need to do anything. They did all
Pretty
the work
much.
for us.
You accidentally played
Yeah,
the
good night, folks. Thank y'all for listening. This is VHS Files. See you next week.
So, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I think it was the third of the National Lampoon movies to come out, but we're getting to it first because it's the best. Spoilers.
Well, it wasn't the third National Lampoon. It was the third vacation movie.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
That's what I meant.
Animal House, and I think another one or
Yeah.
something before that.
This one was it was written by who we spoke about last week in our what did we talk about last week? They all run together now.
Planes,
Trains, and Automobiles. John Hughes and his Hughes-averse.
In Chicago.
So he wrote this one, produced it, but did not direct this one. It was directed by Jeremiah Chechik, and I believe he took over from Chris Columbus. I believe Chris Columbus started working on it.
Yeah.
And then Home Alone came
Interesting.
along, and they said, no, you do Home Alone, or he wanted Home Alone more or something.
It all worked out, I
Right.
think.
I also read that John Hughes did not like the sequels. He didn't care for them
Really?
at all. I think even was it on European Vacation? They gave him a writing credit, but he didn't write anything. They just gave him a credit because he created the characters.
Huh.
But he just wasn't a big fan of them doing sequels. He didn't like the idea of people going in and like rehashing his stories.
Well,
because it basically became more about Chevy Chase through these movies than it did anybody else anyhow.
Yeah. Well, we can get into that when we talk about other ones, but the kids always change.
Yeah.
That's always
Oh,
an
God.
ever-changing thing in it.
Yeah, and it's weird how in this one, now Audrey is older than Rusty.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I thought it was the other way around.
That's definitely strange.
So this guy would he did not direct anything before this, but he would go on to direct Benny and June, and the Avengers, not that Avengers.
Yeah,
obviously, it's the one with Ray Fiennes and Uma Thurman. I never saw that. I don't even know what it's about.
I think I read that it was nominated for like what is it the
Razzies?
Yeah, the Razzies. It was, but it got beat out by another movie. So
gotcha.
At least it wasn't the suckiest movie that year. It was the second suckiest movie that year for the Avengers. So
well, Christmas Vacation came out December 1st, 1989, with a budget of $25 million. Did a box office of 71.3, so it did pretty good.
Ooh.
Was released amongst the likes of Steel Magnolias, Disney's The Little Mermaid, Harlem Nights with Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor,
they shot on my pinky toe.
and Back to the Future 2 would have been the big movie right here.
Oh, yeah. That's some stiff competition right there.
So 1989, Eric, take us back in time.
We're sending you back in time.
Whoa, this is heavy.
Well, Josh, in 1989, the AOL Welcome and You've Got Mail sounds were recorded in 1989 on a cassette deck. After buying a painting for $4, a new owner discovered a first print of the 1776 Declaration of Independence hidden in the frame. He sold it for $2.4 million. That man, of course, was Nicolas Cage.
I was about to say, that had to be Nicolas Cage, man.
It wasn't. You had the Exxon Valdez oil spill, in which the tanker spilled an estimated 11 to 30 million gallons of oil. Reports say the captain was drinking at the time. That's why I say not to drink when you drive a massive oil tanker. It was the worst oil spill in U.S. history until Deepwater Horizon in 2010, one we know all too well about.
Yes.
And finally, All Your Base Are Belong to Us, a badly translated cutscene from the arcade game Zero Wing, gave us the classic internet meme. Hit it, DJ Junkie Josh.
All your base, all your base, don't belong to us. All your base, all your base, don't belong to us. All your base,
wow. That's enough.
All your base, don't belong to us.
Let it go for the whole thing. No, we'll come back in an hour when it's done.
I'll be completely honest. That's the first time I've ever heard that.
Yeah, me too.
Me too, dude.
Wow.
I guess I'm not connected with the world, man. That's the first time I've heard it.
That's a classic internet meme. Like, that's a classic for sure. It's all right.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right.
So, childhood memories of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. Jenny?
This was a staple in our house. And I'm sure we watched like the TBS version because there's no way that I got to hear someone say the kind of things that Chevy Chase says in this movie. Yeah, I can't imagine Christmas without this movie.
Jason, how about you?
Definitely a staple in my house, especially around Christmas time. I know that later this was definitely a rental, my mom and dad, because they love Chevy Chase. I mean, who didn't back then? But yeah, every Christmas we watched it, be it on a video. I think actually on this one later on video and DVD. I don't think I have a Blu-ray, but if not, you watched it again. I've mentioned many times. It always comes on the Turner networks, TBS and TNT. It's on there. Matter of fact, it was on I think a week ago, and it wasn't even Thanksgiving yet.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, definitely many childhood memories. I mean, all the one-liners in this we use. I know pretty much all four of us have used them multiple times, probably sometimes more and most things in a week. So, but yeah, great movie.
Eric?
Yeah. My parents love this one. My aunt and uncle love this one, who were a big part of my childhood. So they would always quote it. We'd watch it almost, I assume every year. It's definitely, same with me. It's just a absolute classic. It's hard to think of Christmas without it. And Chevy Chase, I've always thought he's hilarious. The guy slays me. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. I'll be the odd one out here. I don't have many childhood memories of this. I definitely was aware of it, but it wasn't one that everybody had watched a lot in my house. For some reason, A Christmas Story was on all the goddamn time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I won't get into my feelings about A Christmas Story here, but for some reason, this one was just not one that was a regular when it came to the Christmas movies that we watched. So I think when I really got into it was when you and I got together and we just every Christmas we watch it, and we quote this movie
all the time.
All the time. It doesn't even have to be Christmas.
No.
I mean, this is one of the best Christmas movies there has ever been.
Absolutely.
It's my personal favorite. I'll go ahead and spoil everything now. It's my personal favorite. So
it's real nice.
Then here we go, folks.
Ding. Quote counter.
Really nice.
So yeah, we mentioned Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, Randy Quaid, and can't get into everybody that's in this movie, but everybody that is in it is perfect. I mean, I don't think you could have chosen anybody better for any of the cast here.
Now, let me ask the guys in this room, who didn't have the hots for Beverly D'Angelo back then?
You know,
I thought she was smoking hot back when I was a kid. I'm looking at her like, whoa.
I think I was more preoccupied with the lady at the lingerie counter, but
I'm not even talking
as I've
about
gotten
this
older,
one.
I do, because she's an older. I think when I was a kid, Jason is into the older gals, I guess. But the
time I watched this, I was a teenager, dude. The hormones are flowing.
She is great. She is great, and she's so funny with him. And
she's really funny.
And she's great.
Yeah, but the lingerie counter girl, of course, she wins.
You know, I along with the other National Lampoon Vacation movies, I didn't really watch the first two. I don't even think I've seen European Vacation all the way through.
Oh, dang, Josh. Shame.
Dude.
For shame.
Wow.
So I'm gonna be the lone man out on that one. But I was actually shocked when I saw the original Vacation to show like she went a full topless scene in that.
Oh yes.
And I had never seen that before. I was like, whoa, these movies used to be hardcore.
I think there's more of her in those movies. I haven't seen them in a while, but I feel like there's not as much of her in this one. Is that right?
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Well, that's what happened. That's what they were saying. As the movies went on, they were more a vehicle for Chevy Chase. Yeah. He became a spotlight because back then, I mean, he was still known from Saturday Night Live and some other things he's done, like Caddyshack. But I think that was even after the very first Vacation. But yeah, there was a lot of her in the first one. Yeah, the topless scene. It was mainly the focus was the two of them, and then it slowly just became Clark.
Right. It was more like about the couple. This one, and there's so many more people in this one. They all have to share time because there's just so many. Yeah.
I remember Vegas Vacation not being very good.
I've never seen it.
I remember it being a movie that was like on a lot.
And honestly,
so I watched it a lot.
Right.
And probably because I had a crush on Ethan Embry.
No.
To be honest.
My coolest thing about Vegas Vacation is I've actually met Wayne Newton in person.
Nice.
And that was what was, I mean, I'm talking 2 foot away, shaking his hand, and you're like, whoa, you've had a lot of work done. Cool guy, but wow.
So you met him more recently.
Well, let's go ahead and get into this one. And we start off with the trip to get the Griswold family.
Wait.
No.
That is not how we start.
And I forget
Okay, so the opening credits.
Yes, because I forget
the whole animated Santa, dude.
I forget every time I watch this that there's the cartoon in the opening credits. Every time it comes on, I'm like, oh yeah, there's a cartoon in the beginning of this.
You dumb bastard.
Exactly.
Excuse me.
You dumb bastard.
My first note is the cartoon, Josh. So
yeah,
I think all of our first.
My note, cartoon.
I skipped right past it.
Hooray for Christmas Vacation.
I do love that
the
song.
Whole Christmas,
I do too.
The song, and basically Santa is Clark.
Yep.
He can't do
right. He's a
anything
bumbling fool. Yeah.
Yes, he has the best of intentions, which is Clark. But yeah, it's something bad happens to him throughout the whole cartoon, which is just a few minutes long. So, man, how could he cut out? Man, guys, come on. How could Josh do this to us?
Josh, you're
I
fired.
feel like an inadequate host at this point. I can't even get into the right part of the movie.
Hey, Josh, step into my office.
Nope. All right, and when we're done talking about this fucking cartoon, can we get to the movie now?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, we're done now.
I have to say this, and we won't go too far into it, but Clark Griswold reminds me of your father. I'm talking to Jenny Lou.
Yep, and that my third note is I need everyone to understand that my dad is Clark, but not in a fun way.
I don't think Clark's fun in a fun way to the people around him. I mean, if you think about it, he's kind of an asshole.
Well, they put up with a lot of his shit.
Yeah.
But he seems to care more about like the traditional family and stuff like that.
Right,
so.
tradition and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I love how efficiently they set up immediately the family dynamic, which is already kind of established in previous films, I guess. But for anyone just coming into this movie for the first time, to the vacation movie universe, that when they're singing the song, it's like the first minute of runtime of the film, not counting the cartoon. You immediately know the kids aren't into it. The wife's just kind of doing it for him, and he's it's all him just dragging all three of their asses into the forest.
It's great when she tries to start the conversation with him in between songs, and he just starts singing again.
Oh, we're not done. Okay.
Yeah. And then when he goes, take it, Russ.
Yeah.
La, 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 la. Like they're so on point with it. It's so good.
You know what? It took me forever to realize who that kid was. I mean, we all know who he is now, but going back, you're like, oh my God, that's Leonard. Big Bang Theory.
Little Johnny Galecki.
Little Johnny Galecki.
He's my favorite Russ, I think.
I would say so.
So your favorite Russ?
Jenny's going to argue with you about Vegas Vacation.
I don't know. Well, I mean, he's not my favorite Russ.
I need to rewatch some of the others.
I just thought he was cute. So
I do like him in this film, though.
Yeah, I do.
Well, that's one thing about this movie, and maybe even all of them for me, is Jason brings up the point of where it got more about Chevy Chase, and I'm more or less watching those movies for him anyway.
Right.
But all of them with the separate kids, like the different casting of the kids, makes them kind of feel like they're on their own. Like they're the same characters, but it's completely different. Like you do not have to have any prior knowledge to jump into this.
Mm-hmm.
I think they do a really good job with that.
Yeah.
Because I never once feel like I'm lost on anything in this movie watching it without really knowing the other two.
Well, they don't really talk about anything outside of this particular holiday.
Right.
You know, I mean, you don't hear he watches some old videos that shows that he's reminiscing about Christmas. But other than that, they don't talk about any kind of history or previous trips or vacations or anything, you know?
Well, they do, just like, she briefly says, you know, how he has high expectations for, he's like, when do I ever, you know, do that? And she's like, birthdays, vacations,
weddings,
everything. And that's me, though.
Yeah.
Like, in that regard, I am Chevy Chase, because I have really high expectations for pretty much everything in my life. And usually it doesn't go anything like I've planned out in my head.
I have to come in and be the joy killer and be like, it might work, babe, but might not work the way you thought it was going to.
Yeah.
The realist skill.
But this whole drive to get the Griswold family Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the dynamic is set between him and the kids, and everything's so good in this. Juliette Lewis, I love her in this. She plays a really good teenager here.
I'll tell you what, man, this watching, first time I ever thought of this, and it's because my daughter's 14 right now, soon to be 15. She reminded me of Scarlett, like, so much. Like, her little comments, her little, you know, everything's a pain in her ass, you know, oh, we got to stand in the front yard, you know, like, it's just like my daughter.
Little snarky comments.
Yeah. I mean, it is pretty spot on teenage girl. It's pretty good.
And not wanting to share a bed with her younger brother and all that. Dead on right there.
Inconvenienced. Everything's an inconvenience.
Mm-hmm.
This truck comes up and starts fucking with them on the road.
Yeah.
Clark, don't provoke them. Hey kids, look, a deer. I'm going to be cracking up thinking about this movie the entire time we're talking about it.
Well, that's the thing about this movie at this point is you start laughing before the things happen.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you know you got a classic comedy is you're laughing in anticipation of the gag that's forthcoming.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that that Clark has an edge to him. He's not just he's not like your John Candy type that's just the sweetest guy but a bumbling goof. He's got an edge. He doesn't like being fucked with, and
he's witty. He's very witty.
Well,
he is on it, man. He's just like, hey, well, like dear, fuck you.
Yeah.
He's pretty full of himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Burn some dust here.
Yeah.
Eat my rubber.
But the cool thing, because if you've seen the first two movies, there's always a car scene.
Yeah.
Of him having interactions with somebody while he's driving. He has it every so you kind of had a feeling when this truck pulled up behind him, you went, oh, here's the car scene for the movie. And I mean, it's great. I mean, we even get a Fast and Furious scene before there was even Fast and Furious of him driving under the log truck.
I can't,
dude, that's freaking crazy.
I can't drive on the interstate next to a truck without thinking of that scene. I don't know about you guys.
That or Final Destination. Yeah. You can't think
I mean, I can't have a semi
truck
next to me without going, could I fit under there? Maybe
Yeah.
I could. I bet I could.
Maybe.
This part also is one of two times this movie kind of has a Texas Chainsaw Massacre reference, in my opinion. Because if you've seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, this whole truck behind them thing is something straight out of that movie. And then we'll get to another one later.
It's funny you say that because that truck, the way it looks and the way it approaches the camera, it does feel like a threat. Like if it has like a real threatening feel to it when it rolls up on the camera real close. You're like, oh shit, these guys are some these guys are some like crazy rednecks, you know.
I get a Jeeper Creepers Texas Chainsaw Massacre feel there with the old rusty truck. But yeah, like Josh is talking, you're watching it and you're just waiting as they drive by. You see Leatherface standing in the bed of the truck with a chainsaw to start hacking the car from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. But yeah, there's a few horror movie references I feel in this movie other than Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
So they're going to get the tree.
Mm-hmm.
And after they've encountered these people, they've crashed into the parking lot of the tree farm conveniently. We used to go cut our tree down every year. And I'm pretty sure it's because of this movie.
That's funny.
We used to do that when I was a kid.
Now, luckily, we don't live somewhere where we have to be frozen up to our eyeballs to get the tree, because when they're walking in, each of Audrey's body parts are like getting progressively colder, going up. And they find the Griswold family Christmas tree, and everybody look at it, and she says she'll see it tomorrow. Clock, her eyelids are frozen.
I need to see that. I love the makeup on that, where it literally looks like her eyes are frosted.
Her eyeballs are frozen.
Well,
she says it so matter-of-factly.
Right before that, they cut to her, and her teeth are chattering, and you can actually audibly hear them chatter.
There's lots of funny audio bits in this too. Like later, when like her teeth chattering, little like goofy cartoony sounds, whenever cousin Eddie hugs him, his back like cracks and hugs him too hard and little things like that.
There's some good Foley in this. Let's give it up to the sound guy. Yeah. But yeah, the other thing I love that they're admiring the tree. It's great. And then Russ is like, "Did you bring?" Or was it Russ or Audrey? Or no, Audrey could talk. "Did you bring a saw?" And you just see the look on Clark's face.
Of course.
And there's another sound. Doing.
Doing. They walked so far out into the woods to get this tree. There's no way that car would have gotten that.
No, he even mentions that it's front wheel drive. So
yeah,
if you didn't already know.
Yeah. But hey, that car is definitely an upgrade over the car from the first movie.
Yeah.
They actually got an upgrade there. Nice, good Ford. We'll go with that.
So we get home, and we get our introduction to Todd and Margot.
I love these two. I actually,
It's the best.
I didn't like them when I was little. Like, I remember being like, I hate them. But
Right,
now
yeah,
I
like,
find
that's the
hysterical.
point.
Yeah, that's the point. But,
They're great.
you know, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, I love her so much. She's
I do
amazing
too.
in everything.
It's hysterical.
God, I love her.
Yeah. I've this has been put on record before, but for an older lady, she's very attractive.
I was about to say Josh has a thing for her.
She's
He keeps a
brilliant
picture
too,
in
which
his
makes
wallet.
her more attractive because she's
Yeah.
just
Right.
brilliantly funny. So, yeah.
Mhm.
But and this is where our second Texas Chainsaw Massacre reference comes in. Him walking out of the garage with the hockey mask on. It's
Then
just-
we got our Friday the 13th and Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah.
Massacre
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah. Where are you going to put
But
that? Bend over and I'll show you.
yeah.
Hey, that's my quote, bro.
How dare you say that to me?
I wasn't
I was talking to you. We're all going to be doing this the whole show, folks.
That's right.
If you're not interested, you might as well turn it off now.
Turn around now.
So he gets the tree inside, and they're ready to open it up. And sorry, you're gonna have to anticipate a lot of laughter here, like Eric was saying. But when he cuts the rope, and it just goes out everywhere, out the windows. A lot of sap in here.
Lot of sap.
Little
Lot of
pull, lot of sap. And then his fingers are sticky
Dude.
Yep.
when he's in bed.
I love that. The magazine, and then he gets her hair and the lamp and
The
pulls
lamp.
it all in.
Dude, all right. Now, how many of y'all have actually had to like cut trees and deal with tree sap?
Yeah,
No.
definitely.
Okay, dude, you have to take that off with paint thinner
Yep.
or like mineral spirit, and even then, it does leave that little residue.
You're
It's
a little
hard to
tacky.
get
It's
off.
it's no fun at all.
It goes on forever. So yeah, it's like you see you're grabbing your hair in the lamp. It's like, yeah, that could totally happen. That's
Well,
no
I mean,
good.
it's going to be repetitive since we talked about Steve Martin last time. But here again, Chevy Chase physical comedy in this.
Oh, dude, he
makes
does
it.
great.
I think he's better even for as good as Steve Martin is. I think Chevy Chase.
Oh
can
yeah.
put him in a room and he will just like trip and fall on and stumble over things and knock things over.
Mhm.
You could just stick him in a room and just watch him do all that goofy stuff. It's
I mean, you're going to hear us quote this movie all night long, but a lot of what makes this movie funny is some of his facial expressions. I mean, I can think of a handful right off the top of my head that would just make me crack up. But you don't get the full experience without seeing those facial expressions, and he does it so well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so much so that it's not overperformed, like with the scene with him and his wife in bed when he leans over and kisses her and pulls the hair, and like he and her both acted out to a T. Like she does not even look fazed by what's happening because she just is like that whole exchange between them is great because they know how to play it with each other.
Yeah. It's like Goofy with the glue, that classic thing where he gets his hand stuck to the thing and then it's stuck to his forehead and it's stuck to this and stuck to that. Oh, it's so good.
Now, as someone who is a fan of what are the calendars called that they're going through?
Advent calendars.
The Advent calendars. Do you like that this is kind of your
I love
move through
it. I absolutely love it when they open the doors to the Advent calendar.
It is a fun little framing device for the whole thing.
Yeah.
And letting you know like the time frame, rather than putting a date on the, just slapping a date on the thing. Oh, this is Christmas Eve. This is whatever.
Right.
It's a fun little
I didn't even know what those were when I was a kid. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, we didn't have them in my house.
I didn't have that. I didn't know that till I was an adult, like what an Advent calendar was.
My mom had one that she would
Yeah,
take
we
out.
always had one.
Yeah.
But we move along to Clark's business here, which he's just gotten.
The food additive designer of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seals in the crunch.
Yep.
Food varnish.
Yeah, food varnish.
Sounds healthy and safe. Oh.
But we get our other driving force of this movie, and what leads to a lot of comedy is he's waiting on his Christmas bonus because he already put forward the money for the pool that couldn't even be covered through his banking account.
Yeah, he floated a check to put a deposit down.
Yeah.
What a psycho.
$7,500.
And didn't tell
it
his
was
wife
so much
either.
slower back then. Like
Yeah.
it would take, some time
Weeks.
to clear.
Yeah, I guess you're right, but still, it's
It's
really
not a good
irresponsible.
thing. Yeah, for sure.
But it's just, but that's Clark throughout the movies. Even like we get the Vegas Vacation where he goes overboard with the money. It's just he's more about, I want to do something to make my family happy and have a great time. Screw the bank account,
right?
You know, it's all about having the best Christmas possible, and that makes him a good dad, also in the same sense.
But also talking about how Clark is an asshole,
childish. Yeah.
You know, we mentioned earlier Clark is an asshole, and
did we?
Well, I did.
I was about to say, I don't think the other three of us said anything about it being an asshole.
It's hard for listening to him complain about money throughout this film, looking at his house and looking at everything he's got.
Yeah.
Like, the dude is just fine.
Well, that's kind of what I'm getting to, is his irresponsibility is what leads to all these issues.
Yeah, like if he doesn't get the bonus, he just cancels the pool. It's fine.
But so
Cancel
just
the check.
So you understand, going back again, so this is my dad, but not for things for his family. So like we didn't get any of the benefit of the irrational decisions, and it wasn't fun. So,
but we find out his crunch enhancer is something that the bigwigs want their hands, want to talk about.
Mr. Shirley.
So he's got to put together a presentation of it. I want to play the clip of this because this is one of the genius moments in this movie that I think, and it makes for some good audio as well.
Mark? Clark.
I love the Tasmanian Devil coffee cup.
Are you the one who was working on that non-nutritive cereal varnish?
Yes, sir.
I've got to give a speech to a trade group. I'd like to mention it. Write up a brief summary and have it to me by the end of the day.
My pleasure.
Layman's terms, none of that inside bullshit jargon that nobody understands.
Yes, sir. Oh, Mrs. Shirley, we got your Christmas card the other day, and my family and I are very flattered that you remembered us. Corporate card.
So you see how his eye flutters and whatnot when he's talking?
Yeah.
Don't forget that report, Bill.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Kiss my ass.
My ass.
Kiss
his
his
ass.
Kiss your
Kiss
ass.
Happy
Happy
Hanukkah.
See, that is something that sounds to me like it's a Chevy Chaseism. Like that feels like Fletch. That feels like
Fletch. Yep.
That doesn't feel written to me. Maybe it was, but like there are moments in this movie that feel like it's just something Chevy Chase did in the scene.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
that was just Chevy being Chevy in those moments.
That's just such a Fletch moment.
Oh,
Kiss
yeah.
my ass, kiss his ass, just like,
thought.
just muttering like weird things, but yeah.
I don't know. I think we get the real Chevy moment in the next scene here where he's shopping. And we meet the lingerie, but the way he talks to her, that is so Chevy.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it is good audio, but that scene, and that's one reason I didn't pull that clip, is because that scene not only has the audio, but it's the visual.
Yeah.
And that's where I wrote down in my notes Chevy Chase physical acting, because the things he's doing while he's talking to her are hilarious,
and like nobody would do them.
Yeah, and he's
so, like,
stammering and saying the
overdone.
wrong word.
It's amazing.
Yeah, he's basically like the wolf with its eyes bugging out and its tongue unfurling onto
She
the.
has him so frazzled. It's a bit nipply out. Can I pull something out for you?
He just starts laughing.
No, I was just
he can't, uncontrollable laughing too. He just can't help it. Yes, you can pull something out for me.
No, I was just browsing. I'm browsing. And he wipes his head with the lady's underwear.
Mm-hmm.
'Tis the season to be merry. That's my name.
No shit.
Hey, look, Russ, you can't see the lines.
Yeah, and I mean.
I love that.
I'm seeing it in my head, so I start cracking.
I mean, as a teenager, when I see this, I'm right there at the 13, 14 or of course I'm loving this because it's a nice shot, of that age. And then you just like Russ is just nonchalantly just standing there. Yeah, I can't see the lines. Can you, Russ?
Johnny Galecki is great in this. I love him in this movie.
He really has a nice like chemistry,
deadpan.
with Chevy Chase too. They have some funny moments together.
They definitely work good together.
So, but never mind. We'll move on. I'm moving on. I'm gonna get into it later.
But
anyway,
it's hilarious, but it's also so cringy.
Yeah.
Like He is a married man. And he's just like,
no, she's dead. She's dead. Remember?
To engage in this conversation with this woman to the point where she's pulling her skirt up to.
Yeah. God rest her soul. His wife.
And that's the thing about like Rusty comes up and he knows exactly what his dad's doing.
Yeah.
So he's just an observer.
Yeah. He shakes his head. He's like, here goes dad again. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, he does this in every vacation movie too. So
yeah.
Right.
It's part of the formula.
Who was the model that he was going after in part one?
It's Christy Brinkley.
Christy Brinkley. Yeah, it was just escaping me. Yeah.
They bring her back in Vegas Vacation, I think. I don't remember. Well, I don't remember anything about European Vacation. So
yeah, I think they do. And they pass it. I mean, she's got a baby in the back seat.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's what it was. But then we get back home and the doorbell begins to ring ominously.
I love the shift in tone there
of the doorbell.
You feel it.
Everybody's reaction at different times. I mean, it's the same time, but cutting back.
This so perfectly captures the chaos of having family arrive at your house, where everyone's talking at once and you're trying to get them settled and it's chaos. He's like, what do we do with the cars? What do we do with it? And everyone's talking over each other. And I almost got anxious watching this because I was just thinking of times that I've been in that situation where it's like, yeah. Let me help you with that. Let me help you. And you're just jumping around. Oh my God. It's so perfectly captures that.
And I love that they set up the things like with the grandparents with Clark and his mom, where she's pulling his ears and pushing his nose and all of that stuff. I'll give you a quarter if you rub on my foot for a little while.
on my bunions.
A whole quarter.
And then the parents are telling them all about their, like Ellen's mom is telling her, I've got hemorrhoids and everything. You're like, oh God, this is horrible.
Your mother waxes her upper lip?
She has for years, Clark.
Doesn't show.
But it's great because this reverts back to the scene where they're in bed and she's talking about this. He wants this family Christmas. They show up. I'm going to go do the lights on the house. Like, he's not going to tend to the family.
Yeah.
He's going to go avoid the family the whole time.
Yep. Exactly.
That's what my dad does. My dad definitely does that. When we have that, he goes outside to find something to do.
My dad and I would escape these family Christmases, often go on walks, go outside and throw the football. We would often get away from the craziness. And I can definitely relate to that. But you're right. He wants the idea of a family Christmas, of the perfect family Christmas, but he doesn't really want to sit and talk with his in-laws, all day. He's going to go do his stuff.
His in-laws thinks he's an idiot anyway.
Yeah.
They
particularly his father-in-law.
Oh man, they're always making some kind of little witty comment about him through pretty much the whole movie from this point on. But we get to the lighting that is known as Clark. Holy crap, dude. I want to have a house that's lit like that.
Yeah.
All the lights, all of them. See it from space. Because that's shit that my dad strides for. He wants his house to be seen from space.
And again, it's you're getting just a lot of time with Chevy Chase here just being silly. All the gags on the ladder, stapling his sleeve and falling off and sliding down and all these different things.
I mean,
so good.
He hardly has any lights up and he's almost killed himself twice already. And like nothing's even attached yet.
Well, the fun thing, when he goes up the extension ladder the first time, it comes straight down. And I don't know how many people have been on the extension ladder. It is not going to do that. So
no,
you just go straight down. Gravity does not work that way.
This isn't going to be good for the people listening, but with Eric and Jason on video here with us, like when he does that thing with his hand when he goes from around the ladder.
I love that.
He does he does stuff like that with the flipping window, the round window when he's stuck in the attic too.
Yeah,
he doesn't know to look in the top or the
head.
bottom. Yeah, all that little stuff. That's just
it's the physical comedy of him working what he has in the scene with him, like the ladder or the little window. He does so great with what he has, just right there in front of you.
And I can understand wanting to be precise and do it the right way, but the amount of staples this man is using is ridiculous. I mean, every time, like every 6 inches, maybe. Oh my gosh.
He spent a fortune on staples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're listening to this, that is not a safe way to attach Christmas lights to your house.
No.
That is an electrical nightmare waiting to happen. Go to your local hardware store and buy bulb clips. Be smart, people.
No,
Jason's hardware advice for this episode.
I want to ask Jenny because I'm pretty sure it is, but did you put in your notes the granddad snoring watching TV?
Yes. It reminds me so much of my granddad and Papa during Thanksgivings and Christmases, and it really made me miss them because it's so accurate.
It captures a lot of classic family stuff like that.
Yeah.
I get it too, and yeah, it feels like family Christmas, you know?
Right.
My dad does that every night, or my mom does that to my dad every night. He's in the chair snoring. He starts turning the TV up. When I go over to visit him, I'm like, Mom, I can hear you from next door. Well, you see what I'm dealing with? I'm like, how is he even asleep?
Yep.
Jeez.
Well, that's when Juliette Lewis. What's the daughter's name? I can't ever remember.
Audrey.
That's when Audrey is skinning the carrots, and she's talking about how bad it is that she's having to sleep with her brother.
Oh,
and do you know how disgusting that is? And she says, "Well, I'm sleeping with your father."
We're all making sacrifices, Audrey.
We're all in misery.
The holidays, we're all in
They
misery.
do.
Are you smoking again?
They do have to share a twin bed, though. You think there'd be enough space in that big old house, you know?
Well, Jenny brought up a good point.
Wait. Before we get there, I want to go back to something. So Russ is helping his dad with the Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
And so the first thing we get is the insane ball of lights. There's just a little knot.
Just a little knot, little bitty knot.
You can work on that. And then later, Clark's up on the roof, and Russ comes out with the reindeer. He's like, I can't find the Santa. And he's like, it's in, the basement. We'll get it later. Well, where do you want these? And he's like, oh, just anywhere. And he just... Boom.
You see the legs break off and everything when he drops.
Johnny Galecki is so good because, just the way he just drops them, dead weight. And you can see the actual leg of the reindeer break when it hits the ground.
Those reindeer are extremely fragile. Like they come apart constantly.
Yeah. I think they're like from the 50s. They must be like a family
They're like
heirloom
dry rotted
or something.
Yeah. But then they come back outside, Clark's still doing the lights, and then we get the gutter scene. Again, the physical humor. It makes me cringe every time I see it. Him hanging from the gutter like that. I'm just like, But then when he hangs there and it breaks loose and he launches that freaking gutter sickle
like a missile into the
into the neighbor's bedroom.
Honestly, it's good, and it leads to a scene that I love even more.
Mm-hmm.
When you cut to Margot and Todd looking at the destruction in their bedroom, and something had to come through the window. Something had to break.
It seems kind of obvious, doesn't it?
Why is the carpet all wet, Todd?
I don't know, Margot.
And then they both slowly look out the window. They know what happened.
They know.
No, they do. If they knew. And then we get he hung up 25,000 lights.
Twinkle lights. Imported Italian twinkle
lights.
The thing about this movie is that's a big part of it, and that's something that he overcomes and whatnot. But honestly, it's all white lights. I mean, come on, you got to have some green and red. You got to have some colored lights. Come on, bro.
This might show up later in your ugly.
Oh, okay.
I'm upset at the color of lights. So we needed multicolor, and we needed some icicle lights.
I like the all white
flashy bulbs.
So I'm sticking with Clark on this one. I like the all white. It's classy.
It does look nice.
Maybe the amount he did isn't so classy, but the white looks nice.
So he decides, hey, Russ, why don't we go start checking all the bulbs? Oh, well, you look at that. I got to get to bed. And I read about this. Apparently, looking at ahead of his wrist and not having a watch is as a Chevy Chase thing, which I've never really picked up on.
Little homage to Chevy Chase, I guess. Huh?
Yeah. So, and like you said, they worked well with each other. Like that's one of those things. So I think it was planned, but it's kind of cool that they did something like that.
Yeah.
Gotta do some homework to finish. Gotta feed the hog.
I gotta pay some bills. He says all that
great.
when he's walking away. It's great. Oh, well, then
Then,
we get
you
the
know,
sleeping arrangements.
Sleeping. And this is, we go back to the twin bed sleeping situation with the kids. The only reason that the kids are in that bed and not in the bunk beds, because that would be the more logical place to put them, is so the granddad can be looking at that poster on the ceiling.
I don't know. Can you put two old people in a twin bed? One might fall out.
It's kind of small.
Kind of small. They're full grown.
That might have been.
I think it might have been a full.
Knowing kids, though, my kids anyway, one of them would be sleeping on the floor.
And it just comes back in the next scene when Chevy Chase is stuck in the attic.
Yeah.
And he's a moron for walking on the plaster instead of the
But it's
frames.
Hilarious. He walks on the boards and they just take turns smacking him in the face.
I mean, it's funny just him trying to get into the attic. I mean, he owns the house. He's probably been in that attic how many times? What does he do? He opens it, gets smacked in the face by the ladder.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like,
I mean, the planks coming up is pure Looney Tunes. I mean, that's just
on my watch for this episode, dude, I sat there and laughed so hard, and I've done it every time with him doing the planks. Just it's so Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
Think about it, of the Elmer Fudd going back and forth, boom, boom, or Daffy doing that.
Yeah,
I laugh so hard every time he does. Again, the physical comedy, because look at the expressions on his face every time he gets hit with a board.
Yeah.
And I love the gag of him. He's so elaborate in where he hides his presents that he finds one that he hid however long ago, covered in dust.
Yeah,
where he's hiding
like
stuff for this
ago.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Now, why wouldn't he just crawl through the hole that he made in the ceiling?
Fair
and just
point.
Go back through the house.
A good point.
I mean,
he's right there at a bunk bed. It's not like he would have had to have jumped a great distance or anything.
He didn't want to mess
tall
with the ceiling.
man.
Here's a question: why would he set up his entire seating arrangement on the door to the house?
Oh,
well, I
we're
guess that
talking
was
about
solid,
Clark here.
You know, it was solid at least.
But I
He
do
wasn't gonna fall
love
through any other
that
parts.
touching moment, and he falls. He just drops. So great.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that he finds the old reels of the old home movies.
I think this is the first time I noticed Uncle Lewis or whatever.
Yeah,
he's in the little video.
Yeah. And the cool thing about it, because that part right there goes back to it's because the movie is basically based on a John Hughes short story. It's called Christmas 1959. That's what they did it all, and that's why they even put the 55 on there, because they were trying to pay a little homage to the original short story that John Hughes wrote back like in 1980.
Oh wow!
Because he kind of did a little. I read about that earlier today. It's like he did a little short story back, way before there was a Christmas thing, and that's what they kind of used because it dealt with Clark. Because remember, he went on and did Vacation and everything like that. So that was their little homage to his original short story.
I kept thinking, you get Josh and Jason, you guys have a lot of figurines and little statuettes and things like that. A figurine of Chevy Chase or of Clark with all the old grandma clothes on would be amazing. Wouldn't that be spectacular with that head wrap?
They actually have it. They have a NECA figure of him with the chainsaw outfit.
Oh yeah, that's
with
good
with the hockey mask and stuff. But yeah, that would be a great little, almost like a Chase variant or whatever, something that you could do of him. Because the image of him in those clothes is hilarious.
Yeah, it's all fantastic. The old. It looks like it's either maybe some of his mother's old stuff or
his grandmother's even. Yeah,
because that's old like 1950s type wear for a lady.
Yeah.
So, but he kept warm. That's all that mattered. It's cold in that attic. He's still checking the lights. Is it plugged in? The old saying.
That scene has always frustrated me.
Is it because of this?
Yes. Well, no.
I just put a picture up of all the outlets.
Dude, I have that in my notes again. With me being someone who knows how to do home repair and electrical work, that is frightening.
Yeah.
To see 30 plugs plugged on top of each other into one little plug.
Yeah.
But it fits this movie perfectly.
Oh God. Even the outside where he plugged them into a 6 outlet strip.
Right.
Yep.
There's probably 20 plugged into that.
I love his little diagrams and stuff. He's got it all on paper. It's probably like some insane diagram, but that's not what frustrates me. It's them trying to figure out that it's the switch and going back and forth. And like even as a kid, I remember it made me anxious that like hit the switch, you know?
I love that they set it up to where the mother-in-law or Clark's mom goes out into the garage just on a whim to put something in the fridge or whatever and turns the light on, and then you get
and the neighbors fall down because they're blinded. And the one I love is the meter on the side of the house.
Yeah.
What? And then the nuclear power plant having to go to auxiliary power because the whole town just got dimmed.
Yeah, it's great.
I love that little cutscene.
I love Todd falling down the stairs too.
Yeah.
With like the platter. Like it's just so ridiculous.
Yeah, because the lights were on and it went dark and your eyes aren't adjusted.
Marco's crying over spilled wine on her
my carpet.
But we do finally figure out that's what turns the lights on.
But before he gets them all working, he's just trying to light the Santa and the reindeer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he absolutely loses his shit. And this is Josh. Anytime anything electronic won't work.
I know you have, Jenny. I have personally witnessed things flying across a room and a garage.
Yeah.
That's
From
funny.
that guy.
I remember Josh throwing something trying to get what was it, Walking Dead or Breaking Bad, when we would watch it together. And it was like the new episode was on. You couldn't get the cable.
It was the
working.
remote, I'm pretty sure.
You threw a remote.
He did throw a router down 2 stories once when it wouldn't work.
I love that I'm going to have a reputation that I'm just this guy who freaks out and throws shit. Josh
has a rage
problem.
problem.
The only time that Josh ever gets angry.
Yeah. It's not even just anger about things. He has no sympathy for electronic devices that do not do what they are supposed to do when he wants it to happen.
Yeah.
You will die, electronic device. It will happen.
I pay enough money for electronics. They should never fail me.
So that's.
But he punches the Santa in the face.
Yeah, he dents his face in.
Another cool part about that scene is he does that. He broke his pinky doing it, and he had to do it a couple more times with a broken pinky.
And actually the scene or the cut they used, the one that they used out of the takes was the one that he broke his pinky on.
Yep.
So he didn't have to do the retakes afterwards.
But yeah, then after that, the whole dismantling of Santa and the reindeer, you get it to the slow motion of the hands coming together to plug in the plugs.
Yeah.
And the little spark. And it just all happens to happen at the same time she turns the switch on.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Doc Brown connecting the thing at the end.
For sure.
And I love the look on Beverly D'Angelo's face when she knows. She's like, knows. I just solved the problem.
Click. And then the lights, and then we get more of the music.
Yep.
It's so happy. But that is totally my dad. Like, I'll even say this. He just hung up Christmas lights this past weekend. He put them on the roof, and only half worked on one end of the house and half worked on the other end of the house. And I'm like, did you plug them in before you hung them up? And just the look on his face.
That is perfect. You got to plug them in as you go, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I put them
in. I plug them in before I even start hanging them up. But just the look on my dad's face was like, I fucking hate you right now.
Well, it's great that now he's conquered his Mount Olympus of these lights. Everybody comes out, and of course everybody has good things to say, and then the father-in-law, and well, those little lights aren't twinkling.
I know, Art.
I love the emotional talk he has with his dad. Dad, you taught me everything about exterior illumination.
And I love that actor, John Randolph. I don't know what else he's in off the top of my head. I'm going to look here, but he is so endearing as the dad. And he's just such a sweet old guy, like I love that character. I always loved Clark's dad.
So as he's going down the line, he bumps into Cousin Eddie. Wait a minute. You weren't here a second ago.
He just comes out of nowhere.
And the look, I'm seeing it in my head, but the smile Randy Quaid is gold in this movie.
Yeah.
He's so funny.
It's his most memorable character. That's what he's best known for.
I mean, he essentially plays this character again in Independence Day.
Yep.
More or less.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Should we talk about Randy Quaid and his fall from grace? Because I have some.
Is he still in Canada running from the cops and the tax people or something?
No, well, I don't think so. I think he's back now. But yeah,
okay.
I mean, Randy Quaid descended into madness at some point.
Yeah.
He claimed to be on the run from a group of Hollywood star whackers, as he called it. He claims they're responsible for the deaths of Heath Ledger and David Carradine, among others.
Wow.
He famously made a sex tape with his wife, who was wearing a Rupert Murdoch mask, which is strange. Multiple arrests and being sued and suing people and all kinds of legal stuff. Super paranoid, thinking he's being bugged and things like that. Yeah, he kind of went nuts after this. And as recently as a week ago, the president of the United States shared some of his tweets. Oddly enough, retweeted them. So that's strange.
Wow.
But yeah, he is hilarious in this movie. And that feeling of the cousin that you didn't want to show up at the holiday or whatever, like, oh God.
Well, we were going to call.
Yeah.
We thought we should surprise you. Oh, wow.
But this gives us a good moment to jump into Almost Famous.
Almost Famous.
I know that, dude.
I don't know them.
I know her.
Haven't you ever heard of that guy? What's his name?
That guy who was in that movie that was out last year.
So, Eric, you were talking about the dad, the wholesome dad, Clark's dad.
Was I?
And yeah.
John Randolph.
Yeah.
Was he?
I love Clark's dad. He's just such a wholesome character. He's such a lovable old guy. I just want him to be my grandpa. But yeah, I mean, he was in Escape from the Planet of the Apes in 71, Serpico in 73. What else was it, Jason?
King Kong, 1976.
76 King Kong, and done a lot of television and stuff like that as well. But
I recognize the other in-law. He's been in other stuff before. He's kind of
E.G. Marshall.
Yeah. He's kind of creepy looking old guy.
Yeah, he was in Superman 2 and Creepshow.
You know who's
Creepshow would be what I know him from.
Oh yeah.
And Doris
Roberts.
Right, from Everybody Loves Raymond.
Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
This is pre-Raymond.
Yep.
Pre-Raymond.
Yeah.
You know what?
She's done a lot of voice acting too, for like cartoons and stuff like that too.
You know who sticks out to me as like an Almost Famous, who is that guy kind of type, is Sam McMurray, the guy who plays Bill, his coworker.
Yeah, I wrote his name down.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been in a few things.
Yeah, I didn't write down what he's been. Oh, Raising Arizona.
Yeah.
Drop Dead Gorgeous, Addams Family Values, a lot of television. He's been in a million things. He's the dad in a lot of things. He's someone's dad.
Well, it's funny you brought him up because I wrote it down. I know him from a movie called Stone Cold from back in the late 90s with Brian Bosworth.
Oh, damn. Buzz?
And our guy from Alien, he's in it.
Lance Henriksen.
Yeah, Lance Henriksen's in it, yeah.
And William Forsythe. It was one of those that I was watching over and over again as a kid. And I'd actually like to talk about it on one of our shows here.
Dude, I liked that movie when I was a kid.
It's cheesy as fuck, but that's what I knew him from because he was like it was like a buddy cop thing, and he was opposite Brian Bosworth, and they were kind of the team in that. So that's what I really know him from. Right.
Also, William Hickey, the Uncle Lewis guy.
Uncle Lewis.
Mm-hmm.
That guy is
a puppet master.
Unmistakable. That his voice and his face is just like, you just know that.
And then
he's
there's
that guy.
Aunt Bethany. She was actually the voice of Betty Boop.
Betty Boop.
I love her. She is the sweetest. I want her to be my grandma.
We're getting to her.
And I want Clark's dad to be my grandpa.
But I would think if you're talking about Almost Famous, like even some of because some of these people really didn't do a lot. But if you're at the top, if you're looking at the people who are building this going down, I mean, of course, Juliette Lewis went on to do pretty good.
She was actually famous. Yeah,
Juliette Lewis-Dreyfus, all that. But the one who stayed under the radar was actually Beverly D'Angelo. She was always kind of right there. I mean, she was in American History X, House Bunny, but she played small parts.
I could say
she didn't have that. I mean, people knew who, but she never had that. Of some of the other people that are on this list actually were in more memorable movies than what she was.
Guys are missing the top contender.
Absolutely. It's Clark's boss, Brian Doyle Murray.
No, but see, I knew him.
Yeah, I feel like he's too famous to be.
Yeah,
that
I figure
guy.
he's too famous. He's a Murray.
I'm talking about Sam
He's
McMurray
always
over here. You're
that
throwing
guy.
a Murray brother at me.
That guy who looks like Bill Murray.
But he's not Bill Murray.
Right.
Because I mean, he was the owner of the arcade from Wayne's World. He was in Ghostbusters 2. He was in Scrooged. I mean, I know that guy. I mean, I know Beverly Allen, but I think he was in more memorable movies than she was. Because the only thing she really did was the vacation movies.
We're going to find out how many Murrays there actually are here in a couple of weeks when we talk about Scrooged.
Oh, God, dude.
Because I think all of them are in that movie.
But yeah, Almost Famous. That we didn't agree on this week. We agreed last week.
It's Sam McMurray.
I'm sticking with Brian Doyle Murray.
Yep, me too.
Y'all are wrong. He's too famous to be Almost Famous.
Yes, he's too famous.
Anyway, moving on.
No, we're not moving on until we all agree. We got a hung jury here.
It doesn't have to be a consensus.
This just turned into 12 Angry Men.
Man, aha! Clark's father-in-law was in that 12 Angry Men.
Oh, was he?
Oh, he was.
Shit. Yes,
you're right.
Josh did that on purpose, right, Josh?
I love that movie.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, he accidentally on purpose did it.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay.
All right, so cousin Eddie is in town for Christmas. Yay!
Yeah.
He's got a fabulous black dickie working under his
very
see-through white shirt.
I love the Dickie, dude. It's so funny.
It's great.
Josh, don't take that out of context.
Well, the Dickie is one good thing about this scene, but the thing that I love is the moose cups.
Yes.
The moose cups are fantastic. It's not only those things, it's also they're walking around chatting, and Randy Quaid takes one finger to this windmill and it collapses.
Everything he
Never
touches
to be repaired again.
Yeah, everything he touches is broken, basically.
Yep.
We had Jenny say that Clark is her dad, and honestly, when Uncle Eddie comes into the picture, this is like my family just showed up to the get together.
Yeah, kind of.
Because I love the conversation is about how he had to put his daughter in the clinic to get her off of the sauce.
Get her off the wild turkey.
The wild turkey.
Get her off the wild turkey.
Yeah, I mean they have an entirely different lifestyle, and they show up at Christmas, and you haven't seen them all year or since last Christmas, or maybe a few years, and yeah, you've got like a culture clash going on a little bit. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
And you got Clark bitching about money the entire movie.
Yep,
exactly. Yep. Living in a super nice house. Yeah,
and Clark knows that he has to try and make conversation with him, but he could care less what he's talking about. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Can I refill your eggnog?"
You're stealing my quote. I'll say it. Can I refill your eggnog for you? Get you something to eat, drive you out in the middle of nowhere, and leave you for dead?
No, I'm doing just fine, Clark. Just fine.
Really nice.
Really nice. Oh. But then we get to meet Mr. Shirley again. You can find how much of a kind of a dick of a boss he is. I mean, Clark is coming to his office to make chit chat with him, bring him a Christmas gift that him and his wife put together for it.
Which
everybody bought the same gift.
Bought the same thing. What is it?
What is it? I have to know what it is that everybody bought him.
I love that they make it. Yeah, I love that they make it distinct enough. Like it's two different packages put together.
Yeah,
it's distinct enough that it's like, what the hell is that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one looks like a coffee cup.
Yeah, it could be a mug. Yep.
Yeah. I don't know.
Scented candle, maybe.
That's listening. Let us know if you know.
Yeah, please.
Some chocolate.
One thing I noticed about this scene too, with the giant boardroom, is did you notice all the hourglasses that are sitting on the table? Mm-hmm. Like, what's this dude's obsession with the hourglasses?
Time is money.
Time is money.
Yep.
That's a great representation of that.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to have any kind of time to speak to Clark at any point. So, yeah,
nope.
Get me somebody. Anybody.
Get me somebody.
Get me somebody while I'm waiting.
But then we get to the famous sledding scene.
500 times more slippery than cooking oil.
It is a silicone-based kitchen lubricant.
Oh, and when he fires off like a rocket is so funny, dude.
It's hilarious. Like spinning around and going through snowbanks, but you're not going to catch Cousin Eddie doing that. Because
He's got his plastic implant in now.
He doesn't want to
And
mess
if
up his
it
part.
gets messed up, it's just not going to do right.
But yeah, and I love the whole thing going through all the snowbanks into the Walmart parking lot and everything, and then the Cousin Eddie, bingo.
Why does he say bingo right there?
I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense.
Because he can't see Clark. Clark's in the next county.
Clark's like 5 miles away.
He went down the interstate, took the exit. He's at Walmart in the next county over. He don't even know where he is.
The bingo does not make sense.
Yeah, it's weird, but whatever.
I hate it.
Well, now, after Clark's had his little sledding incident, he decides to have him in a nice little dream sequence. Thinking about what it's going to be like when that pool goes in and he's going to have the family over. Looks like a nightmare to me.
It's weird that his fantasy has Uncle Eddie in it, but he...
Right.
It has Cousin Eddie in a
Cousin
leopard
Eddie, excuse
bikini.
I think it's just that he shows up inadvertently because, he's in his life at the moment. And so it's creeping into his dreams.
He can't escape Eddie even in his dreams.
But I love that the wife beater is all the way down and he's got his freaking swim trunks tucked over.
For it.
It looks hilarious.
And then he throws his towel in the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the biggest offense.
does.
You don't throw your towel in the pool, man.
But we get the sales girl comes back. She's so much better to look at than Eddie.
If we're talking about a girl in a red bikini by the pool, I go Phoebe Cates over this girl.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
What came first?
Fast Times at Ridgemont
I
High
think Fast Times at Ridgemont. Yeah, I think it was 84.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
84,
way
85.
earlier.
So probably an intentional color choice for the...
Oh,
Well,
the suit.
don't they have this in
Also, she's not wearing a
Regular
bikini.
Vacation too?
The one
Well, it's in
piece.
regular vacation,
Yeah.
but
he goes down to the pool with Christy Brinkley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I love the song that's playing while he's having it. It's the Mele Kalikima.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
That's a
the
good one.
Hawaiian Christmas song. I love it.
It's good.
Brilliant.
But then Ruby Sue mistakes him for Santa Claus, which I don't know where she got that assumption that was Santa Claus, but
Because he's wearing his red house coat, dude.
Didn't have white hair and a beard.
Hey, she doesn't know, maybe.
Yeah, she's not... I mean...
She wants to believe.
led a relatively sheltered life. I don't think she's terribly educated.
Listen, Eric, you don't get to defend Ruby Sue if I don't get to defend the kid from Monster Squad. Okay?
Yeah, no, he does. Yeah.
Are you putting her in the Eugene category?
Eugene, yeah.
You're putting Ruby Sue in the Eugene category.
Yeah.
No way.
This is a fight.
No
Let's
way.
throw down. Jenny to sit back and watch.
She can at least say lines and like she's even speaking in like kind of a, she says like wheeze, like using all this like dialect and stuff. This girl acts circles around Eugene. Eugene's trash.
Dude, she throws out shit and bricks, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry. Shit and rocks.
And shit and rocks.
And this whole interaction with her and him is really sweet and sad.
Yeah.
When you find out that, Santa didn't come visit them last year, even though they were good. And so it plants the idea that, they don't have money for their kids' Christmas.
See, there's a few of these through this whole movie. I know it's a comedy in it, but there's always these little touching moments throughout this whole movie. It only maybe lasts about 15 seconds or 20 seconds of dialogue, but it's actually a little touching emotional moment that's not comedic or crude or anything. They throw those in there.
Right. And as much as Clark is an asshole, he's sweet to the little girl.
Yeah. And we've got a clip that kind of, I think, displays that, and we'll get to it in just a second because we've got one thing we've got to get to before this.
Oh, what do we got to do?
So we get up the next morning. Clark's looking out the window. They're talking about how everything's going. And
he's describing how beautiful the winter morning is.
And an asshole. And what does he say?
An asshole in his bathrobe emptying a chemical toilet into a storm sewer.
And this doesn't matter what time of the year it is. Anything.
Famous line ever.
Merry Christmas. Shitter's full.
It's the line of the film. I mean,
it is.
Yeah.
Dude,
It's
I mean,
fantastic.
that's every little meme with anything you see on the internet now. Shitter's full. Because he says shitter's full when Clark and them are looking at him. And then when he sees the neighbors, he says, Merry Christmas, shitter's full.
Yeah. He says it
It's
twice.
like-
yeah.
Yeah.
I love that Todd comes out for his run as he's doing it as well. And he just automatically smells it. Yeah. But during our conversation of all of that, we find out that Clark says that Eddie doesn't have anything for his kids, so he and Eddie go shopping. I want to play this clip because the conversation in it is very good, and so is the visual part of it, which I'll try to step everybody through as best I can here.
Yeah, what Eddie's doing.
Yeah.
Business, Eddie.
Well, I can't complain. How you doing?
Six-pack of Alpo.
Your company kill off all them people over in India not long ago?
He continues to put dog food.
Like a 30-pound bag of dog food.
So far as,
All right, that's one 30-pound or 40-pound.
Yeah, can't lie to you, Clark.
Box of dog treats.
Truth is, things
Box of dog treats.
Clark grabs that.
And then Clark put that one in.
Well, he pointed to it. He asked him to put it in the buggy.
Yeah.
We live in it.
They live in the
sell off
RV.
the house, the barn, the 10 acres. All I kept was a 50-foot plot, pigs,
Two
and
bags.
a worm farm.
Three.
Oh, crap. That's right. He got
If only I had back the money that me and Catherine sent
So
that
thinking
TV
there's no
preacher
way
that
they
was
could
screwing
grab
the
anything
hockey
else.
But this is the best. Light bulbs, boom, right on top.
His kids can fend for themselves.
Oh, your kids.
Smashes the light bulbs.
Hey, they're shopping at Walmart. That's Old Roy.
Yeah.
Posted into town.
Yeah, they are shopping at Walmart.
Gas money give out in Gurney.
But they go through the spiel, and it's obvious that Eddie was counting on Clark offering something to them for Christmas.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah. When he talks, he said, "Hey, me and Ellen are gonna buy the kids stuff for Christmas like that." And he conveniently has a list in alphabetical order.
Yeah.
Inside of his jacket pocket there. Like,
He says, if it wouldn't be too much, I'd like to get something for you, Clark.
Really nice.
Really nice. That is another one that we say all the time. That's nice. Real nice.
Yeah, apparently Snots eats a lot of food.
But then we're back home, and we have more visitors coming.
Okay, here's where
Christmas
we're about to go off on a tangent here. Aunt Bethany is the best fucking thing in this movie.
Amazing.
I love her.
So adorable.
From the moment this is like when Ben and Chris enter Parks and Rec in season 2. Like when Aunt Bethany comes in and Uncle what's his name?
Lewis.
Uncle Lewis. It just makes this 10 times better.
Yeah, it just takes it up that other notch that it needs to finally explode.
So, I mean, we still have a bigger quote to get to, but because Aunt Bethany is here, I have to go through some of this. So here's one.
Is your house on fire, Clark?
No, Bethany, those are Christmas lights.
Don't throw me down, Clark.
I'll try not to, Aunt Bethany.
We say that all the time.
We say that all the time. Everything that comes out of this woman's mouth is golden.
It is.
Oh, dear. Did I break wind? Is Rusty still in the Navy?
And what's funny is we talked about earlier, she was the voice of Betty Boop, and you can hear it.
Definitely.
Even though she's that old, you take her back, probably when she was way younger than this movie, you know that she's Betty Boop. You hear it.
Here's my hot take.
Hot take.
Hot take? Hot take.
Oh, shit.
I don't know if this is a hot take so much as it is a revelation. Did not dawn on me until I did research for this. I did not hear it, did not put it together.
She even looks
I was like,
Betty
holy
Boop.
shit, she is Betty Boop.
Okay. All right. Well, this is me about mine. My mom loves Betty Boop.
I knew you were going to get into this.
Yeah. I mean, Josh knows because that's my mom basically calls Josh her adoptive son. But she has Betty Boop everywhere in her. I buy her Betty Boop pops for Christmas or anything Betty Boop. She loves Betty Boop. But that's how I knew as a kid, because my mom went, that's the lady who voiced Betty Boop, because my mom was born in the 50s and saw some of these cartoons through the years. And she knew that was a lady who did Betty Boop. That's how I learned at a young age that was Betty Boop's voice. So because of mom, I was smarter for that. But that's the only way I knew is because of my mom.
Betty Boop.
And so now we're getting to Christmas dinner, which, why are you having it on Christmas Eve? I don't know.
Some people have their main dinner on Christmas Eve.
I never did.
A lot of people do
I
that,
found that
Josh.
a little weird.
It's not weird. I don't do it, but a lot of people do.
You know what?
Relax.
Leave me alone. But again, Aunt Bethany Gold, they want her to say grace.
Yeah.
Passed away 30 years ago.
It's her 80th Christmas, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uncle Lewis they want you to say grace. his finger movements and the way he enunciates grace is so fucking funny.
Blessing.
He is the original Gollum, almost.
We're not going to get on another Gollum kick on this episode.
Come on, Eric wants you to do a Gollum, dude.
I speak for myself, Jason.
No, come on, then you say it.
No.
Darn.
I'm not your monkey, Jason.
She says the Pledge of Allegiance.
So good.
In place of grace.
Eddie stands up and salutes.
Yep.
I love the effect or whatever they did.
It is a great
turkey when he goes to cut it.
It is a great effect of the turkey, like
bursting open like an alien.
Yeah, like
chest burster.
It's so funny you say that, dude, because that's exactly what I was about to say.
I had it in my notes. Alien chest burster turkey. That's what it reminds me of. That is the driest turkey, and then they're all around the table going.
I love the how society and how families, like, you don't want to hurt someone's feelings. You want to be polite.
Yeah.
So everyone's eating it, even though it's completely ruined. Clearly, lots of great little moments of, you know, like Clark nibbling on it, like with his teeth, like trying to get through a little piece, but.
Someone dunks it in their water glass.
Yeah. That whole scene is like ASMR heaven, though. Like,
yeah,
again, like the sound design stuff going on.
If you like that sound,
like
people
with all the clinking of the silverware and the chewing and all the stuff that's going on, and you can physically, like, you can hear the kids fighting with each other and stuff. I love that no one is talking in that scene, and it's just the sounds going around the table.
Like I said, I love it. Like whoever did the Foley in this movie,
yeah,
fantastic, dude. That is great. But I even like it when you see them going around and Ellen's in the corner and she's eating. She's just throwing the food past her face.
Yeah.
She's not even eating it. And then when was it Clark has some of the Jello and he's like, and he has to take the water to look, and he looks down and sees like the meow mix in the green Jello.
Yep.
Oh.
Eddie likes it though.
I like when he cuts the turkey open. Eddie goes, "Save the neck for me, Clark."
Hey, look, here's the heart.
Yeah. But then we get Snot is hacking up a bone or something underneath the table. He's gotten into the trash.
They have to clean up the trash.
Yep. And this is where, well, we didn't get into where when Aunt Bethany shows up, she brings presents and she wrapped up her cat and her Jello mold as presents.
Yeah.
So they let the cat out and the cat gets into the lights of the tree. And next we get fried pussycat.
Another great effect. The cat,
Yeah.
like, and again, it's very much like a Looney Tune. Like, it's just like an outline of a cat with foot, you know, like an explosion. Just like if the Wile E. Coyote gets blown up with his own bomb or something.
Yeah. If she had 9 lives, she just spent them all.
Yeah. I'd like to fumigate this here chair, Clark.
It's a good
How much this chair set you
Adam.
back? Yeah. He's worried about how much Clark spent on it. Oh God! And then when they're outside talking about it, it says Clark's talking about he could smell the gas.
Mm-hmm.
Like I saw something coming that said, hopefully nobody gets blown up or whatever like that. And then we go back inside. They're sitting back at the dinner table, and I love this shot. You saw where he because Uncle Lewis had said earlier, "Hey Ellie, can you give me my stogie?" And he goes in there and he's smoking, and then they're all sitting back down, and all of a sudden you see this.
Like a fireball.
This huge fireball shoot across the living room. I mean, as a first watch, when you were watching it as a kid, you're like, what the fuck just happened? We just fried a cat. Who the hell is on fire?
And that's set up earlier because Snots drank the water out of the tree, so it dried up.
It's dried up.
And if you've ever
lit a sap.
This is has Jason tried it? Well, have you guys ever burned a Christmas tree?
Yes, I have video. I will send it to you all.
Well, in high school, it became a tradition in high school. My friend had a pickup truck. After Christmas, we would go pick up people's trees that were by the trash. We'd fill up his truck. We'd sometimes get, 10, 15 Christmas trees, and we'd have a bonfire for New Year's, and we'd throw the Christmas tree, throw another Christmas tree on the fire, and you get 30-foot flames on those bad boys. I mean, just whoosh, So definitely have some fond memories of burning Christmas trees.
I love Clark and Uncle Lewis's exchange. My tree. So what's the matter with you?
It's also
He's
great
on
when he has
fire.
to tackle him to put him out because he's on fire. Tackle the old man is such a funny look.
And they say it's an ugly tree anyway. But this is when I think Clark seriously loses it. So the tree's burned down and they hear a knock on the door.
I have a delivery for Clark W. Grisman.
I don't think the guy's learned his lines. I think that was he just did it.
One more time.
I have a delivery for Clark W. Grisman.
It's very like Woody Allen kind of.
It's like Jerry Floyd Laven, yes.
Well, you know, the boss doesn't know his name either.
Right.
Yeah, it might not even have the name on there, right?
Yeah.
But he tells everybody about the pool, the Jelly of the Month Club is like a slap in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I love the anticipation.
Because
Like,
he's already told everybody.
yeah,
that
now he's letting the
wrote
cat
a
out of the
check
bag.
that
Yeah.
he couldn't cover in anticipation of his bonus.
Dude, and he totally flips his shit. Dude, from here.
Now, this is probably, I'd say this is probably what the movie's best known for. Yes.
It's one of the top.
It's one of the
highlights.
tops. Yeah,
Well-
top highlights.
Well, here we go. This is the clip.
Love it.
Pound some
Sucks
eggnog.
down that
Chugging
eggnog.
the nog.
The look on his face.
Hey! If any of you are looking for any last-minute gift ideas for me, I have one. I like Frank Shirley, my boss, right here tonight. I want him brought from his happy holiday slumber over there on Melody Lane with all the other rich people.
Love
I want him
Eddie's
brought
suit.
right here with a big ribbon on his head. And I want to look him straight in the eye, and I want to tell him what a cheap, lying, no-good, rotten, four-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, hopeless, heartless, fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, worm-headed sack of monkey shit he is. Hallelujah!
Holy shit.
Where's the
Tyler?
towel?
That is some of the best acting ever. Oh.
He physically looks like his head's about to split
Yeah.
open. It is so good. And he just, it comes so natural from him. Like it wasn't rehearsed or anything. Like he's literally just grasping for whatever he can. I wonder if a lot of it was ad-libbed or how much of it was written. I know he was on Saturday Night Live and whatnot, but I don't know how much, ad-libbing he did it. I'm sure you have to do quite a bit for Saturday Night Live and performance stuff like that. But
Yeah, I mean, he probably, maybe it was written, but he, kind of riffed on it a little bit. Probably did a few
I want to
versions
know how
of
many
it.
takes it took.
Yeah, me too.
I want to know how many takes it took to get that right.
yeah.
But this
For
is when
sure.
Clark really goes mad.
And
Chainsaw time.
Chainsaw time.
He's gone and he's gotten a new tree.
No,
Right.
well, he goes outside and Russ is trying to dude, Dad, calm down, and he's got that crazed look in his face. He just
Good
turns
talk.
around and good talk, and then he goes to cutting the tree down, and it crashes through their freaking window because they were talking. We didn't even put up a tree. Bam! Here's a tree right in your damn bedroom, right through the window.
Yeah, I mean, they should have called the police on Clark multiple times already.
Dude, yeah,
Right.
that's
The
what I
fact
was
that they
kinda
don't
wondering.
do that is crazy, but
First he fixes the newel post.
Well, yeah, the newel post. Fix the that again is me.
Yeah.
Oh
He's,
god, this
He's having a conversation with Ellen, and she's saying, Clark, don't you think, you've kind of lost it? And he says, well, we needed a coffin. I mean, a tree. There are no lots open. I solved the problem. And so he's just in his own world now where he's doing anything he can to hold on to this family Christmas.
Yeah. With the chainsaw with him in the bathroom.
Oh yeah, because that's how he fixes the loose knob on the
newel
the
post.
stairway, which is called the newel post, apparently.
yeah, there's no way anyone knows what that's called.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've just called it as part of the banister post or stair.
Right.
Yeah.
You definitely had a writer pulling out a dictionary for that.
But yeah, then we get Aunt Bethany. You can't hear anything. Here's a squeaking sound.
All right, this is going to be a good spot for us to do.
You're going to need a bigger quote.
I have so many, dude.
I kind of toned my stuff down, and we're getting to this scene because this is one of my favorite scenes, has my favorite line in the entire movie in it.
All right, who else has this at the top of the list pretty much?
Jason, did you have any taglines for this bad boy?
I did not get taglines.
That's okay. There weren't very many. One that I wrote down is not my favorite, but one that I wrote down is when they're in the car in the beginning. She goes, "I don't want to spend the holidays dead."
Yep.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, you already said the "Can I refill your eggnog for you?" That one. The one my family quotes a lot is about the dog. He's cute, ain't he? The only problem is he's got a little bit of the Mississippi Leghound in him. If he does lay into you, it's best to just let him finish. And my family, my extended family, like if there's a dog that gets on your leg or something, they always say, "Let him finish." Let him finish. That's definitely one. Shitter's full, obviously. I've got another one. I like this one's a little more wholesome, but I like when the dad said, and this is actually right where we're at. The dad says, "Well, you just cocked it up. It happens." I just like that his dad basically tells him, like, it's okay. You made a mistake. Another reason to love his dad, like you made a mistake. Everyone does it. Don't worry about it, and I like that moment. And then I like at the end when the cop hears about the canceled bonuses and he says, "That's pretty low, mister. If I had a rubber hose, I would beat you." And he gets cut off. Threatens to beat him with a rubber hose, which is fun.
Well, I don't have as many as Eric, but if I woke up tomorrow with my head sewn to the carpet, I wouldn't be more surprised than I am right now.
That's a good one.
And I love the one we kind of skipped over that when Eddie does show up. I love it when his wife is walking away and he says, "Don't forget the rubber sheets and the gerbils." Because they're spending a night together alone in the RV. And then the other one was, "How could things get worse? We're at the threshold of hell." That's the three that stuck. I mean, other than the one that we're going to possibly do here in a minute, but those three stuck out to me.
Jenny, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, it's coming up, but the jolliest bunch of assholes this side of the nut house.
I actually have a clip of that I'm going to play.
It's good. This is our family's first kidnapping.
Which is false. It's their second. They kidnapped John Candy in the first one.
They do. And welcome to our home. What's left of it. And I think everything else has already been mentioned.
I mean, we've already mentioned Shitter's full.
Yep.
Kiss my ass.
We're
kiss
at the
his
scene.
ass. Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the big one.
We're at my scene where, Aunt Bethany hears something.
What's that sound? It's a small squeaky sound.
That's a good Aunt Bethany, Josh.
He does a good job at that one. I like that.
And Uncle Lewis.
You couldn't hear a dump truck driving through a nitroglycerin plant.
That's my favorite
It's
quote.
the best.
It's like Eric was saying earlier, when you're anticipating, when I watch this movie now, when that scene comes on, I just start laughing as soon as she says, "What's that sound?" And I lose it. Even after he says it, I've seen it so many times, it makes me laugh so hard.
It's so funny how terrified they are of the squirrel as well. They are terrified, which is pretty accurate. I think most people would probably freak out if a squirrel starts scurrying around, but
is everybody running from room to room?
Yeah, it's filmed like The Birds or something. It's filmed like they're all like a disaster film, basically. Throw a sweater on it and hit it with a hammer.
And the mom passes out. They want it out of the house, but don't hurt it. Just get it out of the house. Yep. I got used to squirrels working on our house after the hurricane because some squirrels got in here as we were doing construction. And
oh god,
they'll definitely startle you, but not enough. It's not to this level.
They're really hard to get rid of.
The way this series of events happens here is so good, though, because you've got Todd and Margot who are upset that this tree came crashing through. Margot wants Todd to go do something about it. He's being apprehensive. So she's like, well, I'll go do it. So she's marching over there. The squirrel's in the house.
Snot's chasing the squirrel, knocking everything over, just bull in a china shop, destroying everything until finally they're running towards the door, which Clark opens precisely as Julia Louis-Dreyfus is going to knock on it, and the dog attack the squirrel, and then the dog attack her.
Yep.
And then he says, "I'm solved," or something like that.
I love when she goes back home
and she clocks Todd,
knocks him over the couch.
He fucking knocks him out, dude.
But at this point, the family decides, okay, I think we just need to leave.
Christmas over.
Which I don't know where they think they're going on Christmas Eve, but
and
they want to be anywhere but there. Obviously, it's a very strong emotion.
And to effectively close out, you're going to need a bigger quote. We'll go with this guy here.
Where do you think you're going? Nobody's leaving. Nobody's walking out on this fun, old-fashioned family Christmas. No, we're all in this together. This is a full-blown 4-alarm holiday emergency here. We're going to press on, and we're going to have the happiest Christmas since Bing Crosby tap danced with Danny fucking Kaye. And when Santa squeezes his fat white ass down that chimney tonight, he's going to find the jolliest bunch of assholes this side of the nut house.
That little laugh at the end of it is just the icing on the cake, man.
Yeah, that's where my quote came from. Right after that was Ellen's talking to him. She says, "How could things get worse? We're at the threshold of hell."
Mm-hmm.
It's right after that, dude. That whole it's always when Clark just mad. I mean, not only that, look at Chevy's face. His eyes are huge. They're like he looks mad. He's gone loony. He's checked out.
Yeah.
Get a white jacket. He's like, "Fuck it, we're doing this Christmas thing, or I will kill you all."
Yeah, Clark losing his mind is the best moments, where he's just completely crazy and you just have no idea what he's going to do.
It's on the verge of Silent Night, Deadly Night happening right now.
And then we get the touching moment with his dad.
His dad talks him down, and, he asks him if he's going to read Nightmare Before Christmas. It's your house,
Nightmare
Clark.
Before Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
For God.
We see where my priorities lie. You're going to read Night Before Christmas, and he says, "It's your house, Clark. It's your tradition is it's your house. You got to read it to everybody."
I'm retired.
And so the Nightmare Before Christmas unfolds as
it is a night.
It is a Nightmare Before Christmas.
It is a nightmare. It definitely is. Is that where Tim Burton got the idea of watching this movie? Man, this is a Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh, dude, I got an idea for a movie.
And Uncle Lewis was in Nightmare Before Christmas, by the way.
Yes, he was.
Oh, wow.
William Hickey.
He's the scientist that builds Sally.
See, I totally did all this on purpose so we could bring that up.
Yep.
Another one, Josh.
You're brilliant.
But we see Eddie bringing his boss to the house. I wish I would have pulled the clip of Clark saying Night Before Christmas and adding his little bits about Eddie bringing him up the driveway, but I did not.
Man in his pajamas.
Yeah.
Ribbon wrapped around him and dog chain.
Dog leashes around his wrists and ankles.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
But he wanted to get Clark something real nice for Christmas, and that's what Clark wanted, so he brought him to him.
You ready to do some kissing?
Like, ooh.
But then you find out he didn't even want to do the Jelly of the Month Club. Like, this guy's low.
Yeah.
Like,
he's all about the money.
They're experimenting with cutting the bonuses for the year, but I like that he comes around. It's a very sudden change.
He comes around, but it doesn't really make sense. It almost feels like, okay, it's time to wrap up the movie at this point.
Right.
For me. It's like, okay, we've done all our crazy shit. It's time to wrap up the movie. And the boss is going to come around and you get it after all. Happy ending. It almost reminds me of the end of Wayne's World.
But honestly, after he says that he's going to reinstate the bonuses and everything and everybody's happy-go-lucky, the wife has notified the police. The police are on the way there. I noticed this time just how much the ending is mirroring It's a Wonderful Life with the family and everything, that they're happy and everything at the end, interspliced with these cops preparing to cave in their house,
which is on the TV earlier as well.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty smart because it hits a lot of those same beats. I mean, other than the
every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
I mean, it's arguably like a trope of a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of like if you want something, well, we'll get into that with Die
And I don't
Hard,
really know why. I don't really know why they got into the police go to Todd and Margot's place other than for the laughs.
Well, they just knocked on the door.
They're just trying to assess, where the threat is.
Yeah.
I think. And they get this huge series of events with them breaking in.
Every window of this house is broken at this point.
It is. Yeah. It's all to the Here Comes Santa Claus song,
yep.
which is, I think it sets it up really great.
I love, though, when you finally get in the house and the cops have everybody with their hands up and Ellen is holding on to Clark's waist and has her hand on his package is great.
And then she shakes the lady's hand and then puts it back on the package.
And because I had seen this so many times, I was actually looking through the crowd at the faces of the other cast members. And Eddie's wife, I can't remember her name, Catherine, she's about to break in a couple of them. Like you can see her struggling on her face to keep a straight face while it's going on. But I love the whole thing, the whole gag with her holding on to Clark's package and stuff. It's so funny. And his wife, or the boss's wife, thinks he's a schmuck for wanting to cancel the bonuses. That's when you get Eric's line from the cop, beating the guy with the hose.
Yeah, I mean, even his wife says that's fucking low just to save a penny. You know? I don't know how fast it was him change his mind like that, but maybe it is. You're so stuck in the office, you're looking at the bottom line, but then you see the people that it affects because of your decision.
Right.
And it could maybe do something. It's a Christmas miracle. Remember, that's what we do with the Christmas movies.
Yep.
So to end it all off, everything gets explained. Happy ending. Everybody goes outside, and Uncle Lewis is still puffing on his stogies over by the storm drain. And that's when it goes off. I love how it's the pile of trash that's just lit on fire and going up in the air, but it looks like Santa Claus. So good.
It is the Santa Claus.
Yeah. Well, it's not the Santa Claus.
Santa and the reindeer flying.
Ho, 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 Santa Claus.
And then we get Aunt Bethany again.
Star Spangled
Banner.
Play ball.
I love it. That's what I said. Play ball. She looked like, I love how the camera zooms into her and she even does the arm. Play ball.
She's so cute.
And even the cops are singing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy.
I mean,
the party.
the end of this movie basically unravels. And it's almost like not even so. It kind of reminds me of in Scrooged when they're filming the scene and then it pulls back and it's the film set. It kind of feels that way. Once the cops get there, it's almost it's just done trying to make sense at that point.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm sure they could have cut other stuff in there, but I think in order to keep, I love the runtime on this movie. It's nice, short,
clips along at a good pace.
And I love how Snots is standing as it zooms out. Snots is sitting in front of him.
Yeah.
That's funny. And he actually reaches down and pets him.
Yeah.
And then you go
as
back
he
to,
should, because dogs should
exactly.
be pet dogs.
Well, he got rid of that squirrel for him, so he was a good boy.
He did his job.
Good boy.
Good boy, Snot.
But then we fade out on this song that was over the beginning credits. That's so fucking
hip,
good.
Hooray for Christmas vacation.
That's a great song, dude.
The halls and light the lights, jang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang-a-lang. It's great.
It is a great song.
I love it.
I love it.
I wish we had this. I wish you people could see this because Jenny's not only singing it, but she's doing some totally awesome hand dancing in the chair, dude. This is great. She's festive.
One thing I found funny about doing my research on this is the score was by Angelo Badalamenti.
Oh, yeah. I have that in my notes.
And I'm a huge David Lynch fan, and he works with David Lynch a lot. I found that so weird because the theme from Twin Peaks is one of my favorite TV themes ever. And just listening to the score for this, I would have never guessed he was the composer on it.
Yeah, because I looked it up because, I know the movies, but I'm not as much into them as Josh. But I was like, well, who did the music? And I looked it up. I was like, that's a total 180.
Yeah.
From the normal scores that he does.
So that brings us to the end of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, and let's do our good, the bad, and the ugly.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
I'll start this week.
Okay.
The good for me is this is a genuinely heartfelt, funny movie. It is hardly offensive. We've talked a lot about things, all the movies we've talked about so far having very ugly things about them in regards to PC, like, political correctness. This has none of that. It borderlines on some adult humor, but it's just a very fun and easy comedy that is genuinely funny. Like, I don't really have a whole lot bad to say about it.
It's a great family comedy, like something that, you know, like it has a couple little racy things in it, but nothing too bad. It's got some language, but like, yeah, it's a great family comedy that everyone can enjoy, I think.
Yep.
And if you were going to ask me, you know, what is it about this movie that you like? It's a scene that I would go to would be the dog food scene where they just keep piling stuff in the cart with the light bulbs and all that. Like that shows the genius of the way they're working with not only the physical comedy of it, but what's going on in the background with the conversations and stuff like that. And Aunt Bethany, is great. Mm-hmm. I love Aunt Bethany and Uncle Lewis. When they enter the movie, it's 10 times better for me. The bad or ugly, not really much I can go with. I guess I could go ahead and put it out there that I know I'm going to get a lot of trash for this.
Be bold.
Because everybody seemed to love it.
Be bold.
But I don't care for the sled scene. I think it's weak.
Oof. All right.
Man.
There you have it.
That's mine.
Wow. I'm fucking hurt, man. I'm shocked. I have tears in my eyes.
I'll go next, I guess.
Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
You want to go next, Eric?
Yeah. Good. I'm going to say Chevy Chase, his physical comedy, his pratfalls. I love all the little things he does that don't seem written. Maybe they are, but little things like cleaning his mouth with his tie by accident instead of the napkin, shaking the cat box when he's got the cat box in his hand and the present with the cat in it, and he's shaking it around, and the sticky fingers. I like when the squirrel and he yells at Russ and Russ is like just standing right next to him.
Right next to him. Yeah.
I hear that. Weird little things like that are just so hysterical. He's so funny. I have a bad. The ending doesn't make sense. I've kind of already talked about it, but the way the ending happens with the cops and it's just so over the top and crazy. I'm going to say I don't really like it. I think you could have stuck the landing a little better on this movie. And then ugly. Jenny's going to be mad. I'm going to say Cartoon Santa. Opening credits. I don't like them. They don't need to be there.
I like him.
Get rid of it.
I like him.
Ooh.
So you don't like the Santa in the opening credits, but the opening credits.
It's worth mentioning.
Okay.
Doesn't mean I like it.
Who wants to go next? Jenny? Jason?
I'll go next. The good is everything about this movie. Like, I can't pick one thing. This is a top Christmas movie for me. I have to watch it at least once in full every year. And usually if it's on TV, I'm going to watch it in pieces again. It's just one that I have fond memories of and also still find so enjoyable to this day. I don't really have a bad, but I do have a wondering that I've always wondered, and I didn't get a place to talk about it in here, but I don't know if the men have ever wondered this, but does anybody know how Beverly D'Angelo keeps her boobs in that shirt that she's wearing at the end? Because she's
I
got
noticed.
a big old
I
oval
noticed.
section cut out, and she's obviously not wearing a brassiere. So
I don't even recall what you're talking about.
Actually, she is. There's a shot. She's turning sideways. You can see her bra.
I don't know.
Jason doing the frame by
what
frame.
kind of
over
bra
here.
this is.
I know. I was a teenager watching this. It was like, pause,
Well,
rewind,
we already know
rewind.
you're into her, so
It's
we
some
know.
low
we know.
cut
Yeah.
nonsense, because she is not a small chested woman, and she is pulling off this open front look. So
Really nice.
Exactly. Like,
I couldn't pull it off. That's all I'm saying.
Jason, how about you?
my good dude. This is just one of the best Christmas movies ever made. As far as
It's the best Christmas movie
I
ever
mean,
made,
yeah,
Michael.
I might have to agree with you
disagree.
guys there.
I would pick this over Home Alone. I would pick this over even It's a Wonderful Life, even
No.
all those fancy movies.
Wrong.
I don't care because I don't care about that. I care
Fancy
about having the
movies.
good time of Christmas because it's somewhat relatable. I don't want to cry at Christmas.
Oh, I love
There's already
crying at
enough reasons to
Christmas.
cry. I want to laugh. I want to have a good time, But it's just a good movie from beginning to end. I mean, yeah, I kind of agree with Eric. Now he brought that up. The ending, they don't stick it that great, but it's still, I don't care even for that flaw. great Christmas.
It's nitpicky. I love this movie. I agree.
I love the. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's probably my favorite Christmas movie. There's a few up there at the top, but yeah.
I mean, but even the little the tender moments they have, like the talk with his dad and even stuff like that, and talking to Ruby. Is that the little girl's name?
Ruby Sue.
Yeah, Ruby Sue. Stuff like that. That's really touching and stuff like that. I don't have an ugly, but my bad is if you haven't watched this movie, I think it's a little crude for a PG-13 movie. If you got kids laying around to watch this, a little language from Clark. If you're a small kid, I mean, my parents obviously let me watch it and didn't care, but we've pointed that out a few times in some other movies. If you have small children, you might not want them to watch this. But if they're definitely older teenager or older in getting into teenager, it's definitely a good movie.
Well, that's one thing I will say is, I mean, they push the envelope in the PG-13 rating area because they get their one fuck to have in there, and they have it in the perfect place, and the dialogue is just crude enough to keep it at that level. I'm pretty sure I know where we're all going to go with this, so I'll just count it down. 3, 2, 1. Buy, rent, or forget it.
Buy.
Buy it.
Buy it.
Buy it. Buy it. Buy it.
This should be in everybody's collection when it comes to movies in general. Christmas movies. I mean, I could watch this movie any time of the year. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it's
a Christmas staple.
It's got to be in a top. If you have 100 movies in your collection, it should be in there.
Absolutely.
Maybe even a smaller collection.
So, and I mean, that'll do it for our discussion about
National Vacation.
I'm having a stroke. National Treasure.
Did we mention Nicolas Cage earlier?
We did.
This movie is a national treasure. How about that?
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Bam.
But that'll do it for our discussion about National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. We will be back next week with another Christmas movie for you. Maybe not your traditional Christmas movie, but I consider it one. Gremlins.
Yes.
Joe Dante.
Bright light, bright light.
I love this movie. I can't wait to talk about it.
That'll be fun.
Tune in next week to hear us talk about Gremlins. And until then, be kind. Rewind. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Fuck out. It's over. You've been listening to the VHS Files Podcast.
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
If you like what you heard, please subscribe and drop us a rating and a review wherever you get your podcast.
It was fun.
Send your questions, comments, and movie suggestions to vhsfilespodcast@gmail.com.
You sick fucks, you've seen one too many movies.
Don't you blame the movies!
Follow us on all social media outlets at VHS Files Podcast.
Movies don't create psychos!
Check out our YouTube channel for more content.
Movies make psychos more creative!
Thanks for listening.
Maybe he had to take a shit while he had to do the lines. The tryptophan is harsh, bro.
He's got a fabulous black dickie.
I love the Dickie, dude. It's so funny.
Oh, yes.
It's not the FEMA.
That guy's delivery of that is so good.